Hello everybody, welcome back to Pacers Daily. I am your host, Hery Acosta. Now, still a little bit under the weather, but feeling a lot better than I was yesterday. So let's get straight into it. Pacers are now 2-15. Now, I can respect this game a lot more than more other games, games that we've been blown out in, just because the Pacers did fight till the end. Now, in this video, I will be talking about one of the main issues that we as Pacer fans have seen from the Indiana Pacers this year. And I'm also going to talk about some stuff that we really got to change. And about one player that really impressed me last night. And I'm just going to talk about a little bit about how the Pistons, ended up winning this game. Let's start off with the fact that Cade Cunningham has been a baller. 24, 11, and 6. 8 of 18 shooting. Jalen Duren, 17 and 12. 6 of 10 shooting. Thompson at 13 points. Harris at 12. And 19 for LeVert off the bench. Jaden Ivey also had 12. He's only been back a few games, but the Pacers did a good job of kind of making sure that some players weren't as hot as they could have been. Players like Duncan Robinson were only 2 for 10. But the issue was the fact that they did shoot 50%. We shot 48, which is not as bad, but they did make a few more shots than us, which ended up kind of being our thing. Our free throw percentage was lower than theirs. We couldn't grab a rebound. Once again, offensive rebounds, 14 them, 5 us. More steals, amount of blocks, less turnovers, but overall, just a few things to look at. We were down on fast break points. Our biggest lead was 2. Theirs was 19. Same amount of fouls, but overall, it was kind of overall, that game was very matched, except the fact that they had 58 points in the paint compared to our 44. And now we're going to talk about this big issue because this has happened in the last few games. It's happened in many games, and this happened in the second quarter. Pacers start out pretty well against the Pistons. We're up, we're down by 10, 20 to 10. Then we're up 22 to 20, and then the second quarter they go on like a 10-0 run. This has happened in most games, whether it's the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter, where the Pacers just won't score for 4 or 5 minutes. And the other team will just capitalize on every opportunity. And we just started going down by 16, 17, 18, 19 points. So we play a little bit better. This game could have been won. But this also happened in Cleveland. Cleveland, we were pretty much neck and neck for most of the game until the third quarter where we started going down by 10, 15 points. So this is just a big issue that Carlisle's got to look into, a big issue that the team in general has to look into. We really got to get better at finishing out these games, just because us Pacers fans, we want to watch more wins. We want to have more fun watching these games. Now, this game was entertaining. I will not lie about that. I genuinely had fun watching this game. I think players like Siakam, who keeps going off for 20 plus. Matherin played awful outside of his free throws. He was 3 for 13 for 14 points. Nembhard was 4 of 14, so we didn't get good shooting out of our supposedly should be better players in the starting lineup. Shepherd, I'm going to say it in the nicest way, cannot hit a 3 to save his life, cannot buy a 3. Just every time he's on that, at this point, people are just leaving him open because he has genuinely gone downhill, shooting less than 21% from 3 this year. But Jarris Walker is a player I'm about to talk about. Jay Huff, I like Jay Huff, but I still think he's shooting a little bit too many threes. He did make 3. JRE should have gotten more minutes. He had 10 points. Tony Bradley and Garrison Matthews should not be on a court. There's some games where Bradley does look okay, but last night, Bradley and Garrison Matthews really just shouldn't be on a court. I was a little excited when we got him. I was like, oh, we have a 3-point shooter now. Plays 5 minutes, grabs 1 rebound and 1 assist. Doesn't do anything else. Can't do anything on defense. So that's that. And then Jarris Walker, I'm going to talk about him for a little bit just because he actually impressed me a lot last night. 8 of 10 shooting, 5 of 6 from 3, had 21 points off the bench. I think we should keep him on the bench because I think he actually does better coming into the game rather than starting. So Carlisle's probably going to look at this and say, yeah, we're going to keep him and McConnell as the first 2 off the bench because McConnell also had 16 points. And we all know what McConnell's capable of doing. So this is a very good one. Congrats, props to Jarris Walker on his big game. Impressed a lot of people last night. I'm hoping we can continue that, some consistency, maybe between 10 to 15 points a game. This one was 21, of course, but if you continue that consistency between 10 and 15 points a game, there's going to be no doubt that you're going to stay on this team. And then the last thing I want to talk about is something I mentioned earlier. It's just too many threes. We're taking way too many threes. Most games we take more threes than the other team, and we make less. Now, this game, we actually shot better from three. Pistons aren't necessarily known for being that much of a three-point shooting team outside of like Duncan Robinson. They like to play in the paint a lot. They like to go in the mid-range. But we still 13 to 31. Now, it is 42%, which isn't horrible. But still, I think we're taking way too many threes, and we're just not cashing in on open threes. Like I said, Ben Shepherd couldn't make a three. Jarris finally was hitting his shots because there's been games where he's been down. But overall, Matherin was struggling from three. Shepherd was struggling from three. Siakam was struggling from three. Nembhard was kind of struggling from three. Walker was good. Huff was doing decent. And JRE was 2 for 3. So overall, not our worst three-point shooting performance, but definitely one we can improve on. But as always, I'm your host, Hery Acosta. This is Pacers Daily. Boom, baby, and go Sirs.